Hey guys, welcome back. This is bimzycodes. In today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at the Unity Asset Store. So starting out in our Unity editor, let's go into Window at the top here, and let's open up the Asset Store window. And from here, we want to click Search Online. This will open up the Unity Asset Store in your default web browser. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you've got a Unity account and sign in through the browser. And this will just help you track your assets, your order history, and give you some notifications and stuff like that. Essentially, it'll let you interact with the Unity Asset Store. As a programmer, I don't want to waste too much of my time messing around with Unity assets, creating 3D models, creating audio, creating user interface. I want to get straight into the programming and game design of my games. So this is why I can use the Unity Asset Store to find some either free or paid assets to throw straight into my game and get a prototype or final game out. However, it's important to know that a lot of assets on the Unity Assets Store you can't actually use commercially in your game. So if you're planning to make any sort of money from your game, you have to make sure you're only using assets from the Asset Store that you've either bought a commercial license to, or if the asset is free, that it says specifically in the description of the asset pack that you're allowed to use it commercially. We don't want to be stealing other people's hard work and time, so make sure when you grab an asset pack, you double check that you can use it for the purpose of your game. Now, a great place to get started is this top free assets. A lot of these asset packs you can use for your game commercially. Some of them you'll maybe have to cite the creator of the asset pack, or you'll not be allowed to actually use it commercially. You can just use it to demo your game and create prototypes. So just make sure we double check all that information. Once you've found an asset pack you like, just click the asset pack. And as long as you're signed in, you'll be able to add that one to your asset list here. So there'll be a different button to add it to your assets. And once that's done, you can just click Open in Unity here. So always allow this Asset Store Unity to open links of this type. And let's open in the Unity editor. So that'll open up the Unity editor for us, and that'll throw us straight into the Package Manager. So if your package manager window isn't open by default, we can just jump into the windows and open up the package manager again. Now in our package manager, it'll show you all of the assets that you've added to your Unity asset library. So these are either paid for or free. So as you can see, I've got quite a few over here. Now just to demonstrate our game, let's go ahead and add this Food 3D Micro Games add-ons pack. So let's download that one, and I think this one actually comes from Unity. Yeah, so you can see the publisher here, Unity Technologies, and we just want to import that one into our game. Import. Cool. Now another thing, I like to have this externals folder in my assets, and what I do with that, just to track any assets that aren't actually mine, for later reference, if I need to cite things or if I'm using like assets that I'm not allowed to use, I can then remove them before I do the final release of my game. So we'll just throw these add-ons straight into the externals folder here. So the link on where to find this fruit asset pack will be in the description. Now what I want to demonstrate is how we can use this asset pack to create prefabs for our game. So let's get these collectible prefabs here. Throw those into the scene so we can sort of mess around with those. And by default, they've got this mesh renderer component attached to it. Now, if we take a look at our food, we can sort of just drag these into the game, and straight away we can see there's a banana over here. Let's zero that one out, so let's just reset the position. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and reset the position of all of these guys. If we double click an asset, it'll zoom into it. So let's move this over here. Got collectible 1, collectible 2, obstacle, and then we've got our banana. So what I want to do is rename this to banana. And what other food do we have? We've got cheese, cherries. We're going to end up making one droppable object out of each of these foods, and this is what the player is going to be collecting. So this is what we're going to see in the game. So we've got an olive, and then we've got a watermelon. So I'm going to actually remove this for now. And let's just put that banana into there. Can remove this mesh renderer. And then, so we've now got the banana childed to our banana game object. So let's reset the position of this and reset the position of this inside there. We sort of want to scale that banana up so it sort of matches the box collider. So that looks about right. Let's move it down a little bit. Alright, it's fine. Now let's duplicate this. I'm just going to go ahead and set up the prefabs for all of our obstacles or our fruits and vegetables and stuff. So let's make cheese. So I think you guys get the idea. I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead, and we'll have all these prefabs set up. So now looking back at our game, I've set up all of these game objects in the scene. The one thing I haven't done though is set up our scores and our obstacles. Now how our game's going to work is we're going to have some junk food like the hot dogs and the hamburgers, and these are going to be our obstacles in our game. And our character is going to want to avoid the obstacles, like the cheese maybe, dairy's not good for him. So we're going to have 3 obstacles, these 3 food types. And then the rest of the food is going to be healthy food like bananas, cherries, olives, and watermelons. So let's set that up now and assign some scores and the obstacle flag to all of our things. So watermelon can be worth 10 points maybe. Olive, let's make that one worth 3 points because it's an olive. No one likes olives. Set that to obstacle. We don't really need to worry about this score because it gets set to 0 anyway, but let's do that just for good practice. Make that one 0 as well for the hamburger. Set that up as an obstacle. The cherry, let's make the cherries worth 50 points because those are pretty delicious, let's be honest. Make this one 0 as well. Cheese is going to be an obstacle, and then the bananas might just be worth 15 points. So they're like a decent pickup. So the next thing we're going to want to do is set these up as prefabs in our prefabs folder. So we can go ahead and delete our older collectible 1, collectible 2, and obstacle prefabs. Yep, so we can't undo this action once it's done. So we've removed those from the game, and you'll notice straight away in our game scene these have turned red. So that means that they used to be prefabs, but their link to their prefab has disappeared. So we want to set these up as individual prefabs now. So let's go ahead and drag each of these objects into our prefab folder. Cheese, and finally banana. There's one last thing we need to do to set these up in our game. So if you remember, we've got our droppable spawner class here. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 game objects. So we're going to need to repopulate this droppables and repopulate this weightings. So we want to include 7, and we want to include 7 here. Now to keep things organized, I'm going to put all of my obstacles at the top of the list: hot dog, hamburger, and cheese. And then let's add the rest of those prefabs into this list here. Cherry. And our weightings should still work. So we want to maybe decrease the weightings of our cherries. So our cherries was this 3rd iteration here. So let's make those 5. So they're, or 10 even. So they're quite rare. Our bananas can be 30. Our olives can be, yeah, right, 20. That looks pretty good. Bump this one up to 50. So we've got more of those. And all right, I think that looks pretty good. Now the final thing we can do before we play the game is just remove all of these prefabs. We've got the information stored in our prefabs folder for all of these. And now when we go ahead and hit play in our game, we should see the food falling from the sky. There we go. And that's a perfect way we can use the Unity Asset Store to get visuals into our game pretty quickly as well, actually. Like, it wasn't hard to do all this. Thanks for following along with this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one.